watching the Western Athletic Conference on ESPN+. Live in the heart of West Texas is where we find a matchup between these two rivals, the Tarleton Texans and the Abilene Christian Wildcats. Welcome courtside, Coy Austin alongside my friend Kaylee Kahn. We're here in a little matchup between these two rivals mid-season here on a Saturday afternoon in October. Kaylee, how are you feeling about this matchup?
I'm feeling really good about this matchup. I think both teams are doing really well, and they're very similar in their conference play so far, so I think this will be a good matchup between the two, especially being rivals at this point in the season.
Yeah, let's take a dive in and look at our impact players. For Tarleton, it's Grayson Sherpick, and for ACU, Briley Steinhilber. Kaylee, tell me a little bit about Grayson.
She has been on fire so far this season. She's recorded over 200 kills, which is incredible for a player. And just this past couple matchups for them, she's been off the charts in her statistics. One
of those players that if you look at the WAC stats, she's all over the place. Tell me a little bit about Briley Steinhilber.
Briley has been killing it the past couple matchups. In this past recent one against UT Arlington, she recorded her 8th double-double of the season.
All right, now let's take a look at your keys to the game. You've done a little work on these two teams and taken a peek at what they can do.
Yes, so for ACU, I think they need to just gain and maintain their momentum, which we've seen them done plenty of times before in regular season matchups, but if they just keep that going, then they will have no problems gaining the win. But also, if they do lose that momentum, just being able to bring back the confidence when they're down. And like I said, we've seen this happen before, especially in their last two matchups that have both gone into 5 sets. They really know how to do this.
Confidence can win or break a close game, as we've seen many times here in the WAC. Looks like both teams are getting ready. Let's head down to the court for the first serve. Excitement in the air, Kaylee. These two get ready to go head to head. As we were talking about a little bit in the open, obviously those little mistakes are going to come a long way for both teams. We've seen that a bunch of times for ACU and for Tarleton this year.
Yeah, I definitely think that both teams are going to have to capitalize off of each other's mistakes in order to get a really good grip of this game and to be able to pull out in front.
Both teams getting settled in. Close one here. Both of these teams we talked about also trying to get everything lined up going into the next season. They both look like they're headed in the right direction. Of course, Tarleton, very young Division I program. ACU dealing with a coaching change.
All right, man, on your feet, it's game time.
And here we go.
This afternoon, the Tarleton Texans will be serving. To serve for the Texans is number 6, Megan Hodges.
Megan Hodges back to serve for Tarleton. Freshman out of Salina, Texas. And the serve is underway, received by Steinhilber. Big hit at the net by Bozier, falls for a point for the Wildcats, and they're already off to their first point. Very quick defensive effort there at the net by the Wildcats, Kaylee.
Yes, and Bozier is something that the Wildcats are really capitalizing off of, so as long as she just keeps it up, the Wildcats are going to have great momentum going into this.
Ashley Edmondson serves for the Wildcats. Big hit back over the net and returned. Saved by Shepard. Little short shot over the net, received by Steinhilber. Strike at the net by Burkle is blocked. The point looks like it's going to fall for the Wildcats. Out of bounds is the call, and another point for ACU. They're up by 2 early on. Looks like the teams are going to talk it out here now. Tarleton is challenging the call of out of bounds. It was close here by us, courtside. We get a look at it, but a very close call and an early review here in Abilene. Kaylee, how can an early point here affect these two sides? I know that's a close question, it's only 2 points, but you know, evening it out early can change momentum. Obviously, ACU's come out firing. Tarleton has 2, but that defense at ACU at the net looks really good so far.
Oh yeah, well like we talked before, just that momentum carrying in, and once we're taking the beginning, like, you got to carry that momentum to go. So if this gets to overturn and Tarleton gets the point, then it'll be 1-1, then that momentum is back for Tarleton.
Let's see if we take a look at it here. Maybe not. We'll see here in a minute. Looks like they're wrapping up here at the desk. Referee checking off. And the point's going to fall for Tarleton. It is overturned. It's a 1-1 game. I mean, I don't know if you could tell. I thought that was in for them for sure. I was a bit confused when the call fell for ACU.
It was definitely a close call.
Grayson Sherpick back to serve for the Texans, and we're back underway, tied 1-1 in the first set. Steinhilber, strong strike at the net, falls. There is nobody there for that one, and ACU's up 2-1. Brayden Bozier going back to serve now for the Wildcats. The serve. Hard hit at the net by Allie Hare, back over the net by Jada Burkle, and that one is going to be out of bounds and fall for Tarleton. And the serve. Little short shot by Jada Burkle at the net. Strong strike on the outside by Megan Haynes. Steinhilber hits that one out of bounds, and Tarleton's, I was going to say that one. Net violation, Tarleton, ACU point. Surprise on the faces of the Wildcats. And Madison Roller go back to serve. Little momentum breaker there, Kaylee, for the Wildcats.
Yes, it is. Those little mistakes that we were talking about earlier, that's really going to make it and break it for either team.
Rower's serve is received by Tarleton. Set at the net, strong strike on the outside. That one's going to go out of bounds. Strong strike at the net. Set and another big one. One's going to fall in and a point for Tarleton. And let's take a look. Mary Schindler here, head coach, 18th season at Tarleton, helped the transition to Division I in 2020. Kaylee, obviously her resume speaks for herself. If you can hold a job at Division I as long as she has, you have proven yourself.
Yes, she's definitely had some successful career so far, and she's been doing well with Tarleton so far this season.
Outside point by Bree Box, that one falls in. ACU gets a point there, and now it is 5-3 ACU. Steinhilber back to serve now for the Wildcats. Up 5-3 here in the first set. And that one's off the net and a point to Tarleton. Little mistakes, Kaylee, you talked about it in the open.
Yes, those are some things that we've seen recently with the Wildcats, especially with service errors. So as long as they just need to fix that, they'll be right back into the game.
The serve from Thur is received in a strike. That was London Gray at the net for the Wildcats. They retake the 2-point lead. Andy Shepard going back to serve, the sophomore out of Midland Christian. The redshirt sophomore, that is. The serve. Big hit at the net, off Shepard, recovered by the Wildcats, but another good block at the net. That one by Emma Burke. Another big block at the net by Emma Burke. Steinhilber, short shot over the net. Outside, strong strike, Grayson Sherpick. Tarleton trying to fight this one, and ACU's defense is all over the net. Brayden Bozier and London Gray. Shepard again, now Rower. Back hard hit. Tarleton trying to recover, have to get it over the net. A good back and forth between these two teams. Strong strike at the net is blocked. They're going to say it's a net violation. That falls for ACU. Intense back and forth there, Kaylee. Early on, a lot of energy from these two teams.
Oh, I know. Points like those really show how strong the competition is between both of these teams.
Shepard again to serve. Clean return by Tarleton. Strong strike on the outside by Edmondson. Another short one. On the outside, Sherpick over to ACU. Steinhilber receives. Now London Gray on the outside, and a good block at the net gets it for Tarleton. Emma Burke with a great block up the middle. The freshman out of Godley, Texas. The serve from Emma Halcomb is received by ACU. On the outside, a strong strike by Edmondson falls for the Wildcats. They're up by 3 now.
And now for ACU is number 7, Jada Merkel, number 10, Madeline Guppy. Guppy to serve.
Madeline Guffey back to serve for ACU, the sophomore out of Crum, Texas, and North Central Texas College. Strike on the outside, that one way out of bounds. Very strong strike, a little too much on that one, Kaylee.
Yes, it was. This is the little momentum that we were talking about for the Wildcats, and then breaking away with up by 4 points so far.
The serve by Guffey. Almost a clean return by Tarleton. Good block of the net, though. Brayden Bozier was all over that one. This net defense for ACU can really get the job done. It's very hard to get it in the back court. Another serve by Guffey, falls short, but a good return by Halcomb. Thurr shoots it over the net, but that one's going to fall for ACU.
Timeout, Tarleton.
Tarleton takes a timeout here. 11-5, ACU leads. Stick with us on ESPN+. Welcome back to Moody Coliseum in Abilene, Texas. The Wildcats up 11-5 over the Tarleton Texans. Here in the first set, Coy Oslin, Kaylee Kahn. And it will be a serve from the Wildcats. Guffey still serving, the sophomore out of Crum. Almost clean return by Tarleton, but a block at the net by Bozier gets the point. She has been all over the net today, Kaylee.
Yes, she has, and she's someone that Tarleton's going to need to watch if they're planning on making some good points here.
The serve by Guffey. Returned by Halcomb. Now Sherpick gets it over the net. Big strike on the outside by Jada Burkle. Another one by Sherpick. Briley Steinhilber now. It's going to call for ACU. Net violation gets Tarleton again. We've seen a couple of those early on for the Texans.
Yes, we have, and we've seen this become crucial for the Texans, now being down by a good chunk.
The serve by Guffey, returned by Tarleton. Sherpick on the outside goes for it, but Burkle and Bozier up the middle again. Jada Burkle can really do it all. She's all over the court. Very explosive player, can really elevate on strikes and good blocks to the net, Kaylee.
Yes, she can, and that is someone that the Wildcats definitely need, and they're definitely capitalizing off of her.
Strong strike on the outside by Sherpick. Edmondson, good hit back to Tarleton. Sherpick again, that one's gonna fall, and Tarleton breaks the momentum of the Wildcats. But is it too little, too late in the first set? 8 points the Wildcats have put up. Big lead now. And a big momentum shifter has to happen. Megan Hodges serves for the Texans. Burkle on the outside, good block at the net by Allie Hare. Hare, the freshman out of Liberty Hill, Texas. A young roster for Tarleton, Kaylee. A lot of freshmen.
Yes, it has, and that'll be good for good experience for many seasons to come.
Now Steinhilber, strong strike on the outside by Edmondson. Big block at the net. Sherpick gets it over for Tarleton. Burkle shoots one back over. Sherpick again on the outside. They keep feeding her, and she does a great job of really locating those where ACU cannot get to them.
So smart plays by Tarleton. That's just getting right past ACU.
The serve received by Steinhilber, and that one's off the hands and out of bounds. It'll be a service ace for Tarleton. Megan Hodges going back to serve for Tarleton here. 5-point game now. Seemed to stifle ACU's momentum. Strong strike by Burkle. Returned by Halcomb. That one's going to go out of bounds again, and ACU looks like a completely different team here. ACU takes a timeout here, trying to slow the momentum shift, if you will. Tarleton has really clawed their way back into this one. Looked like a completely different team since getting that point back. These two teams have seen each other quite a bit. Only about 90 minutes away. 16 meetings between these two. ACU leads 11-5. Last time these teams met, ACU in Tarleton, 2021. Tarleton swept them. Good rivals between these two programs, football, basketball, historically. Sure, a lot of alumni on both ends were relieved when Tarleton came up to Division I to see these two rivals go at it again here in West Texas. (14-10) lead for ACU. Kaylee, what do they got to do to slow this momentum? Obviously, a big hit can do it, as we saw for Tarleton, but a lot of work's got to happen.
I think it's really just making Tarleton make those little mistakes and not letting them capitalize off of the Wildcats' mistakes and just let the Wildcats play their game.
Hodges will be serving for Tarleton again, the freshman out of Salina, Texas. (14-10) set one. Hodges serves. Steinhilber has to dig for that one, gets it. Edmondson on the outside gets the point. And ACU's got the ball back in their hands and maybe momentum back in their hands. Ashley Edmondson goes back from Wilsonville, Oregon. The serve, Halcomb got it. These two teams going back and forth again. We've seen a lot of these. Steinhilber on the outside. Set up the middle, strike on the outside is Sherpick. That one's gonna fall just in the back. And Texans get a point here. Grayson Sherpick now going back to serve. She has been all over this court for Tarleton, Kaylee.
Yes, she has. She's one of their core players that we can see doing really well so far.
Off the hands of Steinhilber, that one falls for a point. And Tarleton has clawed their way back in from what was an 8-point Wildcat lead, is now cut down to 3. The serve from Sherpick. Shepard, now Steinhilber. Malcolm had to dive for that one. Tarleton gets it back over. Strong strike by Bozier up the middle, falls out of bounds. And now it is just a 2-point game here in the first set. The serve by Sherpick. Steinhilber on the outside, good block at the net, up the middle. Allie Hare. Brianna McDonough also for Tarleton. Sherpick serving again, 1-point game. Big point, a little bit of confusion. Madeline Guffey. So the confusion gets the point. We're all tied up like a pair of shoes. 15 and 15. This serve by Sherpick is off the net. ACU point, 16-15 now. Tarleton has found their way back into this first set. It looked like it was going to be a runaway for the Wildcats, and now momentum has shifted. ECU looks a little confused on their side. Bozier back to serve. Strong strike on the outside by McDonough. But up the middle gets the point for Tarleton. Allie Hare, and she's going to go back to serve now, the freshman out of Liberty Hill. Textbook play there, Kaylee. Tarleton keeps it tied. Hare serves. Steinhilber now, good block at the net. Emma Burke. This is all Tarleton right here. The momentum has completely shifted into their court. They have control here. AC gonna have to slow them down, get a point, Kaylee.
Yes, they are. The Wildcats are gonna need to figure out something and move around Tarleton, or else they're gonna have to figure something out for their momentum.
On the outside, strong hit, but a block. Megan Haynes for Tarleton, sophomore out of Surrey, British Columbia. Allie Hare back to serve again. That will fall for ACU. Tarleton now leads by 1 with the ACU serve coming up. Kaylee, closer than we thought so far. ACU had pulled out there to an 8-point lead. Now Tarleton leads.
I know ACU just needs to capitalize off this service point and be able to tie it back up to bring back their momentum.
The serve from Rower. Tarleton trying to work this one back over the net, and does. Rower now box up the middle. Good effort by Halcomb. Back and forth they go, Steinhilber. That one's gonna fall out of bounds off the hands, and ACU gets a very crucial 18th point. Tied up again. Rower going back to serve for the Wildcats. Kaylee, what can winning the first set do for a team's momentum going into the rest of the matchup?
Oh, it'll do everything for the team's momentum. Once you take away that first set, then you already kind of have that energy and that confidence out on the court that you really need just to keep going.
ACU able to get back-to-back points there. Rower gonna go back to serve now. 18 all here in Abilene, or 19-18, excuse me. On the outside, Haynes tried to go for it, but Rebox and London Gray up the middle for ACU, and that's gonna be a timeout for Tarleton. 20-18, a very competitive first set, Kaylee.
Oh yes, after ACU pulling out by 8 points, this is what they needed. They needed to get their service game back into it.
You know, these two teams obviously both new to the new WAC. Very close here, competition-wise between these two. Didn't expect to see anything else but close here in the first set. Boy, Grayson Sherpick sure has been good for Tarleton here in this one early on. You see her all over the court, but Emma Halcomb, the senior out of Highland Village, Texas, we've also seen a lot of her. She's getting in there, digging for the ball a lot. A lot of hitters for Tarleton. Megan Haynes on the outside, of course, as I said earlier. Right, and teams are rejoining the floor. It'll be Madison Rower back to serve again for the Wildcats, the redshirt senior out of Woodway, Texas. One of the pillars of this team. And the serve is underway in return by Haynes. And on the outside, that point's gonna fall really easily for the Texans. Melina Maldonado going back to serve, the junior out of Carolina, Puerto Rico. And the serve. On the outside, Bree Box. Chipping back and forth, these two teams. London Gray, and that one's out of bounds, and we're tied back up at 20 apiece. These two just dig back and forth, no one wanting to give an inch. The serve from Maldonado is short and off the net and out of bounds. ACU point, and there's those little errors you talked about, Kaylee.
Oh yeah, those little errors really make or break, especially when it's this close to the end of the set.
This makes for a fun game when it's this close early on. Sarah Carazales, the freshman from Arlington, serves. And Megan Haynes has it on the outside. Little confusion up the middle by Bree Box. That one falls for Tarleton, and we are once again tied back up. Maddie Thurr going back to serve, the junior from New Braunfels. And the serve. Edmondson on the outside, now Rower. Edmondson again, tried to strike it, couldn't get it over the net. Tarleton leads 22-21 now. Third going back to serve again for Tarleton. 22-21, very close matchup. Rower, now Box. Good effort by Halcomb to get that one. On the outside is Sherpick, but that one is well out of bounds on a strong strike by Grayson Sherpick, and an ACU point. Andy Shepard going back to serve for ACU. Kaylee, it's what we've seen so far through this first set is, you know, you get a little momentum back in your way, and then all of a sudden it's a completely different ball game.
Yes, I mean, we saw ACU come out really strong at first and then Tarleton come back. And now with this being a really close game towards the end of the set, the Wildcats seem like they're trying to pull out with the 1-point lead so far.
Andy Shepard going back to serve now. Very trustworthy situation here for her. 2 points and they win a set. Give it back and maybe they lose. Halcomb had it, now on the outside Sherpick, but a good block up the middle by Bozier. Gets the point for the Wildcats. 24-22, set point for these two teams. The serve from Shepard. Skims over the net, Halcomb got it, but it was just way too low, didn't get a good angle. ACU takes the first set, to 22. ACU wins set 1. Stick with us on ESPN+. Kaylee, welcome back to Abilene, Texas. Tarleton and ACU. Kaylee, we've talked a little bit back and forth about this, but what we've seen so far, though ACU takes the first set, what stood out to me was Tarleton's ability to crawl back into that one. Down by 8. As you take a look at the WAC standings, ACU 2-6 in conference play, Tarleton 3-5. Very close mid-pack here between these teams, and obviously you have the usual suspects at the top, UTRGV, Utah Valley, and SFA. But looking here, you are seeing ACU and Tarleton, obviously we said, trying to rebuild their programs, and they're both headed in the right way, I would say. We've seen a lot from both teams. They've got the players for it. They've just got to win the games.
Yes, and they both have very similar records, especially in the WAC, and so their competitions are very close to what we can see in this first set already on how close it was. So both teams are doing really well this season so far.
Yeah, both these teams really trying to rework it here. Obviously, Tarleton very, very new to Division I athletics. ACU, new coach, new life, new stadium, new arena. Everything feels new here. Same deal with Tarleton, though. They are building a amazing, amazing athletic program in Stephenville. Two programs in West Texas that really stand out throughout Division I. Getting ready to go here in what will be the second set.
Our man is there for set number 2. ACU has
Of course, ACU won set 1, 25-22. They had an 8-point lead at one time, Kaylee, as we were talking about. Two teams that are really closely matched up, but Tarleton was able to really dig back in and brought it back from an 8-point ACU lead.
Yes, they were. This first set really showed how much momentum is important in the game and just how the shift can really show how who takes the set in the end.
The serve from Guffey returned by Halcomb. Sherpick tried to go for it and did. Point for Tarleton.
Back to serve for Tarleton is number 6, Megan Hodges.
Megan Hodges going back now to serve for Tarleton. The Texans serve is off. They're up 1-0 here in set 2. Strike at the net by Bozier. Now Halcomb gets it. Sherpick on the outside, short shot over the hands of Ashley Edmondson, and a point for Tarleton. Good momentum for Tarleton here in set 2 already. They look really good coming out of the net.
Yeah, those smart plays is what Tarleton needs if they're going to try and get around the Wildcat defense.
Steinhilber, Bozier up the middle. Again, Steinhilber, now Burkle. On the outside, Sherpick. Now Edmondson, that one is going to fall just in bounds. Point goes to the Wildcats. So ACU gets their first points of the second set. Edmondson going back to serve. And just a little floater over the net. Gets us underway here. That one is off the net. Brianna McDonough at the net there, off the net, excuse me. Tied up at 2-2 now. Kaylee, these two teams already showing that they're going to play neck and neck here in the second set.
Yes, they are. And we've seen this for many times from the Wildcats, on especially them going into fifth set. So them playing this close to each other is not new for the Wildcats.
Tarleton gets the point there. Going back is going to be Grayson Sherpick. Really good efforts made by them when she was serving in that first set. 3-2 Tarleton lead. A little confusion. Burkle gets it over the net though for the Wildcats. Sherpick on the outside. Strong strike by Brianna McDonough. That one's going to be up the middle and a point for Tarleton. They're up 4-2 now. Sherpick back to serve now. Or still, excuse me. The junior out of Leander, Texas. Little short shot by Bozier. Sherpick now. On the outside, a strong hit by Haynes. Returned by Edmondson and off the hands of Halcomb. And a point for the Wildcats. Bozier going to go back to serve now for ACU. 1 point game here in the second set. Clean return by Tarleton. Goes out of bounds, and it's a point for ACU, and we're tied back up. Four to four, Braden Bozier serving for ACU. Skimmed over the net. Strike on the outside by Haynes, blocked at the net by Box. Haynes again on the outside, she skims that one over. And a good point for Tarleton, very important, crucial here in the second set, Kaylee.
Yes, it is. Tarleton can try and get a breakaway, then they're going to carry the momentum, but the Wildcats need to figure out how to get back in and not let the Texan offense take away from them.
That one's going to go out of bounds and a point for Tarleton. They continue their momentum. 6-4, they lead. Haley Hare back to serve now. Set hit by Burkle. Off the net, it's going to be a net violation, and Tarleton's going to get the point.
Wildcats are called for 4 hits, point Texans.
Just a bit of confusion there, Kaylee, on that play. ACU's got to get those points. They want to find their way back into this one. 3-point lead. A lot of confusion. They're going to say she hit it out of bounds. Tarleton point. Hare again with the serve. 8-4 Tarleton lead. Edmondson cannot get to it, and that's a service ace for the Texans. They are peeling away here. ACU takes a timeout, trying to shift momentum here in the second set. 9-4 game.
From U.S. News and World Report, I think Christian University is in the top 15
Kaylee, these two teams obviously closely matched, as we've said. What have you seen from Tarleton here early on in the set?
Their offense has just been a lot stronger now that they've had that momentum from the first set. Even though they lost it, we saw them coming back in the second half of the first set, and we can still see them carrying in with it into this set.
Yeah, ACU obviously really wants this one. Elisa Blair, head coach of ACU, here in her first season, 5-15. Of course, trying to work together her first program here at Division I. Doing a good job so far. Obviously has built a great program. What can you say about her coaching, Kaylee?
Oh yeah, I think she's doing great. I mean, yes, maybe this overall season record hasn't shown much, but if you go really in depth to all the matchups that they've had, like the Wildcats have been doing great, and she's been coaching amazing because they've gone through so many 5 sets, which shows that she just gives them exactly what they need and to not give up and then carry that momentum to the end.
Yeah, and Kaylee, obviously early on in this season, this team took some pretty good programs to the limit. Saw their WAC conference opener. They came back and won versus Sam Houston. A lot of potential. The serve by Hare. On the outside, Haynes returned back over the middle. Bree Box gets a big point for ACU. They're coming back into this one. Madison Rower going back to serve now for ACU. 9-5, Tarleton leads. What is a 1-set ACU game so far? Haynes returns. Now McDonough on the outside. Rower. Now Box up the middle, a bit of confusion, and that one falls. Looked like a low energy play there between these two sides. If you could put it on cruise control, why not? Melina Maldonado now going back to serve for Tarleton. 11-5, they lead. The serve from Maldonado. Rower now Steinhilber on the outside, off the hands of Halcomb, and a point for ACU. Steinhilber back to serve now. You've got to get points early on if you want to get back into this one. Strike at the net, good. Blocked by Bree Box. Falls for ACU. 11-7 now. ACU slowly building their way back into this one, and Steinhilber goes back to serve. On the outside, strong strike by Haynes. Rower, now Edmondson. Haynes again on the outside. She is all over it on the outside. Sherpick, now Haynes. Another good block at the net by ACU. Back on the outside again. Garcia Rosa. Now Edmondson, and a good block up the middle. That one falls for Tarleton. Emma Burke up the middle, the freshman, doing her job up the middle. Great effort from her as you take a look at it here, Kaylee.
She was just there for that ball right as it was coming across the net. Just put it perfectly where the Wildcats were on the court.
Good court awareness. Steinhilber. Strike by Edmondson. Halcomb got it on the outside, Sherpick. Rower, good block at the net. That one's going to be a point for Tarleton. It was Grayson Sherpick on the outside. Maddie Thurr going back to serve now for Tarleton. London Gray with the tip over. Sherpick now. Strong strike up the middle by Bree Box. Falls off the hands and in. ACU gets a point. Doesn't let Tarleton get too far ahead, Kaylee.
No, this is what this is the energy that ACU needs in order to keep going and continue this momentum in order to tie Tarleton up and then take the lead.
These two teams back at it again. Sherpick on the outside. Rower. Edmondson gets it over. Sherpick floats it back over. Gray with a strong strike and a risky hit falls in for ACU, Kaylee.
Yes, we've seen a lot of those balls just kind of floating over the middle net. And just like that, ACU really knows how to put those away.
Andy Shepard going back to serve for the Wildcats. Halcom's got it. On the outside, it was Garcia Rosa. Emma Halcom going back to serve now. Steinhilber returns it. Strike at the net by Bozier. A little bit of confusion, and that one falls up the middle. ACU inching their way back into this one, slowly but surely. Looking like another exciting set here in Abilene. The serve from Guffey. A dig attempt from third did not fall, and another point for ACU. It's now just a 2-point game, Kaylee.
Yes, we've seen this before from the Wildcats being able to come back.
The serve from Guffey is returned. Garcia Rosa. Now Edmondson. Sherpick back and forth. A lot of movement here. And up the middle, the ball is going to be off the hands and in. Tarleton loses another point, and ACU has now pulled it in within one. Just a good back and forth here, Kaylee. If you're ACU, you got to be proud of that effort. The serve from Guffey again on the outside. Garcia Rosa. Here she is again. She tips that one over. On the outside is Sherpick. Now Halcom. Little tip. Barely. Edmondson gets it back over. Sherpick again, and that one falls just in. I mean, barely in. Tarleton gets the point. What a great effort by Sherpick on the outside. She hit that one. She knew it went in, Kaylee.
Yeah, she did. She just has great ball placement and knows exactly where to place it to where the Wildcats can't get it.
Hodges the server for Tarleton. Halcom returns. Hodges now on the outside. McDonough. That one's going to be out of bounds and a point for ACU. So ACU gets it back here halfway through the second set. Only one timeout so far in this set. 1-point game though. Edmondson. Strike on the outside by Sherpick, off the hands, and that one falls. Tarleton up 15-13 here in the second set. Stick with us on ESPN+. Excuse me, back at it now. Sherpick serving. Steinhilber on the outside. Halcom. Haynes on the outside, got it off the hands and out of bounds. When she strikes like that, it's hard to even track that. I don't know how you'd be able to do that at the net. Sherpick back to serve now for Tarleton. And that one is out of bounds. ACU point now. Bozier going back to serve. Brianna Box is in for ACU up the middle. The serve from Bozier, 2-point game. Haynes Up the middle, big, strong strike by Ali Hare. And Ailey Hare will go back to serve. Hare, the freshman out of Liberty Hill. Steinhilber on the outside, strong strike. Sherpick was there though. Haynes on the outside now. And that one floats out of bounds, and it's a 2-point game.
It's these little mistakes from Tarleton that the Wildcats really need in order to get back into this.
Yeah, and overcoming those is going to be a very big part in how this game falls. Right now, it's Tarleton set to lose. They've shown that they had the momentum, but ACU is right there, reminding them every now and then. The serve from Rower. On the outside, Haynes, good block by Gray. Gray tips it back over. Sherpick now. Rower. That one is well out of bounds, just too much on it. Going back to serve will be Melina Maldonado. The serve from Maldonado. Set by Rower, outside Steinhilber. Haynes on the outside for Tarleton. 3-point game, Steinhilber tips it back over, Halcomb is there. Haynes again. That one's off the hands and it's gonna fall in for a Tarleton point. They now lead 19-15. ACU takes a timeout here. 4-point game, crucial set. Stick with us on ESPN Plus. Welcome back to Abilene, Texas, 19-15. Tarleton leads. Very close matchup. ACU had to call a timeout there. It's a 4-point set. ACU took the first set 25-22. On the floor right now for Tarleton, Sherpick, Maldonado, Hodges, Thurr, Burke, and McDonough. The serve. Set by Rower, strike up the middle by Gray. That one falls off the hands of Maldonado. ACU looks like they use that timeout well. They come out swinging. 3-point game now. Steinhilber back to serve. Very fun back and forth here, Kaylee.
Yes, it is. We're seeing the Wildcats being able to hopefully grab and hold their momentum, but that's going to hurt them right there.
Yeah, out of bounds. Momentum killer here. Maddie Thurr going back to serve now for Tarleton. Rower, now Edmondson. Thurr had it, now Halcomb. Sherpick shoots it back over. Rower at the net. And London Gray, strong strike on the outside, falls. 3-point game again. Very good back and forth there, Kaylee. These two teams, we've seen a lot of those today.
Yes, it seems like the teams can capitalize whenever they pull the other one out of position, like we just saw with the Wildcats pulling Tarleton out of there, being able to strike away.
And out of bounds, a little error on the serve. You talked about it in the open, Kaylee.
This has been something that the Wildcats have really been struggling with the past couple matches that they've had, and it's really been costing them some crucial points.
Rower, Edmondson on the outside. Sherpick on the outside now. Maldonado now Sherpick. That one is well out of bounds. A strong strike and a point for ACU. A very fun back and forth again. I feel like I'm saying that over and over again, but this has not been a very back and over the net day. This has been a very competitive matchup. A lot of strategy has to go into a game where two teams are this closely matched.
Yes, we knew with them, both teams coming in, that they were very closely matched up. And just seeing into the first set and now into the second set with it being very close, we can see how these two teams have been rivals and why they've been rivals for so long, and just how this matchup is going to end in the end.
So the point still under review. Both teams having a lot of fun right now. Tarleton's challenge here of the point, it was out of bounds was the call. I believe it was Sherpick that made the strike. Take a look at it here. See it over to Sherpick. I think both sides definitely thought that it went out of bounds, it looks by their reaction.
Yeah, it's really hard to see. Oh.
They're gonna overturn the call. It's gonna fall for ACU, or for Tarleton, that is. It was an interesting situation. The replay couldn't pick it up. It was off the foot of the referee in the corner. So another close call falls for Tarleton. They have a 5-point lead. It's all their set now. On the outside, that little dribbler falls. And ACU is right back in it with a 4-point game. You say a 4-point game though, Kaylee, or I say a 4-point game. You can't really let Tarleton slip up here. You have got to score 4 unanswered at the least, 3 maybe.
Yes, the more that you let Tarleton back in, the more that they're closer to shutting out this set, just like they did. Now they're up 23-18.
This set all but wrapped up for Tarleton. Chance to take the second one after losing a close first set where they came back. It's looked like since that first set that Tarleton has had the momentum in their hands. Since they came back, though they lost it. The serve from Hodges. Strike at the net, but it's blocked. That was Edmondson trying to get the point there. 3-man block gets it. It is now set point for the Texans. Megan Hodges going back to serve. 24-18 the serve. Steinhilber on the outside, Burkle. Could be a close one. They're gonna say it falls for Tarleton. That is the set. Tarleton takes the second set, 25-18. Tied up the middle now, 1 apiece. Stick with us. We're going to set 3 on ESPN+. Welcome back. A close matchup here in Abilene, Texas from Moody Coliseum. Tarleton and ACU Western Athletic Conference volleyball on a Saturday afternoon. Taking a look back at the first two sets. ACU took the first set. Tarleton takes the second one, but I said this towards the end of the first set. It looked like Tarleton had taken their momentum of their comeback from the first set, though they lost it, and really put that into that second set, ran away with it there for a little bit.
No, we could definitely see that with Tarleton. Like you said, even though they lost the first set, we can definitely see how they definitely had more of the momentum in that second set than ACU, despite them losing that first set.
Hodges was the server for Tarleton, but a block of the net by Burkle, and Bozier gets it for ACU. Edmondson going back to serve now. ACU up 1-0 here in the third set. Edmondson's serve is off the net. It was just way too low off the hand. Point for Tarleton. Grayson Sherpick going back to serve now. Of course, the offensive leader on this Tarleton team. Leads the WAC in hitting percentage. Haynes on the outside, blocked by Burkle. At the net, a strong strike on the outside, but off the hands of Rower and well out of bounds. Took a bad bounce there, Kaylee.
Yes, it did. As we saw, the Wildcats took ahead of this set 1-0, but now the Techans are coming back in it. ACU just needs to keep on going with their momentum and confidence.
The serve from Sherpick. Burkle tips it over. Sherpick, now Haynes, block at the net by Bozier. Bozier tips it over. That one's going to be like a net violation maybe for ACU. And a point for Tarleton. Take a look at the replay here.
There seems to have been a lot of net violations so far in this game, causing some crucial points.
Strong strike on the outside by Steinhilber. ACU gets a crucial point, and Braden Bozier's going to go back to serve. Pardon me, Sarah Carzales is going to go back and serve, the freshman from Arlington. The serve from Carzales. Haynes returns. Now on the outside, a strong strike by McDonough. Now Haynes again. Halcomb up the middle. On the outside, Burkle falls for ACU. And we are tied at 3 apiece. Another competitive set, it already looks like here early in set 3.
This is exactly where the Wildcats need to pull away in order to get that momentum back and take it away from the Texans.
Carzales' serve has Haynes now. Ailey Hare going to get the point there for Tarleton. She's going to go back to serve. 4-3, Tarleton lead. The serve from Hare. Off the net. And a service error now ties it back up. We've said that a bunch of times. It's fun to see a good matchup like this on a Saturday afternoon. Two teams going at it back and forth. The serve from Guffey. Short tip doesn't go over. Looked like Brianna McDonough on the outside there. Just came up short. Maddie Thurr going back to serve now, or excuse me, Madeline Guffey going back. Had my Maddie's mixed up. That one's going to be out of bounds and fall for ACU. They're up by 2 now. Tarleton takes the timeout here early in the third set. ACU leads 6-4. And please stick with us on ESPN+.
Advance mark your calendars for November 3rd as your men's and women's basketball teams are hosting Booty Madness.
Welcome back. 6-4 AC leads here in the third set. Madeline Guffey going back to serve for ACU, the sophomore out of Crum. Seen a lot of her behind the line serving today, and that one is clean. London Gray at the net. Not sure what happened there, but they're going to say it falls for ACU. The serve from Guffey. Big strike on the outside by Haynes off the hands of Edmondson. That one falls for Tarleton now. Haynes on the outside, Kaylee. She has got an arm on her. She can strike the ball as hard as anybody on this court. Steinhilber block at the net. Steinhilber floats that one over. Halcomb was there for it on the outside. That one's gonna fall for Tarleton. Garcia Rosa on the outside. You take a look at it here. They set her up for that one. She saw an opening and took it.
Those outside hitters for Tarleton have just been really capitalizing on the Wildcats and where they are on the court.
Jayla Beth Garcia Rosa on the outside. Short one and a bit of confusion. Bree Box shoots that one over for a point for ACU. 8-6 they lead. Steinhilber goes back to serve now. The serve from Steinhilber. Big hit up the middle by Haynes. Gonna go out of bounds and a point for ACU. They're up by 3 now. Averaging about 30 minutes a set here in this one so far. This one seems to be moving really quickly. These two teams not wasting any time getting along here. The serve from Steinhilber. Sherpick on the inside. Now Box. Sherpick again tries to float that one. Haynes, hard hit off the hands of Shepard, and a point for Tarleton. That one looked like Shepard should have just let that one go out of bounds. But then again, there's the reason I'm talking about it and not playing. Steinhilber. Edmondson on the outside there gets the point for ACU. Bit of confusion here on who's going to serve. No, it does look like Andy Shepard's going to go back to serve. Shepard from Midland, Texas, the serve. 3-point game for the Wildcats. On the outside is Sherpick. London Gray on the outside. That one's off the hands and out of bounds. Another point for ACU. 11-7 now. Shepard going back once again to serve. A lot of movement there from Tarleton. Edmondson on the outside. Tipped off the net and out of bounds off the hands, it looks like. Point Wildcats. 5-point game now. Or set, that is. The serve. Halcombe is there. On the outside, that was Garcia Rosa. Jayla Beth Garcia Rosa doing wonderful work on the outside for Tarleton today. Serve was from Halcombe. London Gray on the outside now. Back and forth on the outside now, Sherpick. Now Bozier, a block at the net. That one falls down though. Tarleton gets another point, though it looks similar in a reverse stance from the last set where Tarleton had a similar lead that ACU does now. Of course, Tarleton can use the notes from that one to figure out how to pull them back in. That one is going to be out of bounds and a point for Tarleton. Looks like Coach Blair is going to challenge the call on that one of out of bounds. It was really close there. I figured there would be a challenge on this one. Take a look at it here. It's a strong strike at the net. It's just off to the side, Kaylee.
Yeah, it was. It's really hard to see if anyone tipped it as it was coming over the net or not.
I don't know if this one's gonna fall for ACU. Tarleton's had 2 challenges fall their way today so far. Looks like they're done reviewing it. And it is overturned. ACU gets the point. Now up by 3. Excuse me, 4 that is. There's a little conversation going over with the referees. Madison Rower going back to serve for ACU. This serve from Rower, 13-9, the Wildcats lead the Texans. Sherpick on the outside. Off the hands and out of bounds, that one falls for Tarleton. Megan Hodges going back to serve now. The serve from Hodges, 13-10. Rower tried to force that one over. Took Tarleton off guard, it looked like, Kaylee, and they got the point there.
Yes, it is. It's those smart plays where you just barely tip it over the net are the ones that pull them out of position the most, and where you're able to really gain those points.
A lot of finesse on that one there from Rower. Smart player is Madison Rower, the serve from Edmondson. Shepard, now Rower, now Steinhilber. A great diving play, but a good block at the net. Rower, Shepard, Burkle on the outside, and that one falls for the Wildcats. Jada Burkle can really elevate when she goes to strike, Kaylee.
Yes, she has. She has just one of those powerful hits that once she gets it, it's really hard to stop.
Yeah, someone that this team has utilized very well since she showed up here at ACU. Of course, the transfer from the University of Memphis and the American Conference. ACU has pulled out here to a 5-point lead, Kaylee. We saw them pull out to a maximum of 8 in the first set. 5 now. Kaylee, it's a good time to kind of reflect on what you said at the beginning of the game on what those keys were. We take a look at those.
Yeah, so just like as we were talking about ACU, just being able to gain that momentum, which is what we've seen really in that first set and now as they're ahead. And then like in the second set and this set really, just keeping that confidence when they are down and trying to bring it back up. And then like for Tarleton, just their smart ball placement, which we saw as they came back in the first set and all in the second set, just figuring out where the Wildcats were and just placing it really smartly to be able to get the point and pull ahead.
Yeah, you talk about smart ball placement. Someone I've seen doing a lot of that, Jayla Beth Garcia Rosa, has done a great job of that, really able to angle the ball when she gets a good hit on the outside. Edmondson going back to serve for ACU from Wilsonville, Oregon. On the outside is Chirpik. And a point for ACU. They have a lot of momentum and a lot of energy on the ACU side of the net, Kaylee.
Yes, they do. They just need to keep this up because, like you said earlier, the last time they had this big of a pull ahead, it was 8 points in the first set. So this is exactly what they need to try and win this third set to take it 2-1.
Offensively, they're statistically dominating Tarleton. That one falls in for the Texans. 46 digs to 43 for Tarleton. ACU 30 to 28 digs, but when you look, assists. When you look at blocks, though, 8 blocks this game on average for Tarleton. Their defense has been pretty solid. You saw that in the last set. Steinhilber, now Rower. Steinhilber back on the outside. Haynes on the outside, now Rower. Burkle. That one falls for ACU. Moody Coliseum getting loud for ACU. Take a look at this replay.
Once again, it's just one of those hard hits that come right over the net, and Tarleton was just not there and firm in their ground to be able to bring it back over the net.
On the floor for ACU right now, Steinhilber, Rower, Box, Burkle, Edmonston, and Guffey. Back to serve Carrizales. Carrizales now. Rower, Box. Off the hands of Halcomb, and a point for ACU. They are running away with this set. ACU 7-point lead. They have grabbed momentum and run away with it. Up the middle. Ailey Hare tried to punch it over the net, a little bit too much on it, out of bounds. And Carrizales will go back to serve again for ACU. She's looked really good serving today so far for ACU. Obviously her and Rower are two that get it done behind the line. A good block at the net from Bree Box, and Briley Steinhilber fall for it. ACU now 5 points away. Of course, we know Tarleton can claw back into it. We saw them do it in the first set. Carrizales back to serve. And that one falls. Service ace for ACU.
With them now being up by 10 points, I think that ace was really crucial for the Wildcats into really getting their momentum to finish out this set and then to go into the next set.
First ace of this set for ACU. Carrizales serves again. On the outside, Haynes, strong strike off the hands. It's gonna bounce out of bounds. Ailey Hare gonna go back to serve for Tarleton in what is a 9-point game. The serve from Hare. Set by Rower. She set it right over the net. Trying to confuse them. They did not. Haynes puts it back over. On the outside, Steinhilber, and that one is off the hands, out of bounds, and a point for the Wildcats. Pull back out to that 10-point lead as Steinhilber is going to go back to serve. A bit of confusion on substitutions, it looks like there. It's like Gray is going to come in to the game, and so will Guffey. She's going to go back to serve. Guffey back to serve now for ACU. London Gray in the game now also. Strike on the outside. That was Robertson. Ooh, that one is up in the rafters, and it went up into the ceiling tiles and back down into play. And a hit by Bree Box gets the point for the Wildcats. Kaylee, I don't think I've ever seen that happen here.
No, not at all. Usually you just see it hit the scoreboard, but never go up into the ceiling and come back down.
Went up into the tiles, and I mean, just a perfect bounce. I thought that one was gone for sure. Haynes on the outside, blocked by Gray. Steinhilber on the outside, off the hands of Halcomb, and ACU gets the point, and it is now match point for the Wildcats. Maddie Thur going back, excuse me, I got my Maddie's mixed up. Madeline Guffey going back to serve for ACU. That one is off the hands, and a service ace caps off an outstanding third set for the Wildcats. They win it 25-12, Kaylee. We head to break. Stick with us on ESPN+. Welcome back. ACU grabbed momentum by the horns. 13-point set 3 win, Kaylee. Talk about momentum right there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the last time we saw the momentum for the Wildcats was in the first set when they pulled out by 8 points, and then it got really close towards the end. And they really couldn't just quite pick it up in the second set when Tarleton took it away from them. But in this third set, it was really close in the very beginning, and then once the Wildcats really found their momentum and kept going, their confidence just shot up, and they were able to take away the set, not even closely.
Kaylee, I would say right now, with the way the momentum came out of that third set, this is ACU's game to lose now. Tarleton, of course, going to respond. We've seen them do it before. Back and forth here on a Saturday afternoon. Both teams taking the court now. As we get ready to go here in a crucial fourth set. Shepard, Steinhilber, Rower, Edmonston, and Bozier on the court for ACU right now. Sherpick, Hodges, Hare, Halcomb, on the court for Tarleton. The serve from Rower. And that one is out of bounds and a point for ACU. McDonough on the court also for Tarleton, missed her. The serve from Rower. 1 point already for Wildcats. On the outside is Sherpick. She gets a point there off the hands and out of bounds. And Hodges going back now to serve for ACU, for Tarleton. The serve from Hodges, 1-1, all tied up. Burkle. Up the middle, a strong strike does not fall for Hare. ACU gets the point now, and they're up by 1. Another early back and forth, Kaylee.
Yes, it is. We've seen this many times so far in all of the other sets, really. It's good that the Wildcats can try and take ahead of this now to carry their momentum through.
And a service error off the net. Going to tie him up 2-2. And Kaylee, you see a lot in volleyball, obviously. At least one set will fall in a situation where one team will just pull out to an enormous lead right off the bat, but have not seen that at all today. ACU really dominated that last set, but this one has been very close in the early on stages. Rower, Steinhilber on the outside. That one falls just on the line, and a point for ACU. They're up 3-2. Brianna Box in for ACU, and Sarah Carazales in now too. She goes back to serve. Carazales wrapped up that third set cleanly for ACU. And the serve. Floats it over the net. That one is gonna fall for ACU. It looked like a double touch. Carazales still serving for ACU, up by 2 points here in the fourth set. Halcomb. Little short tip goes over the net. Brianna McDonough on the outside. Thought they had it for a minute. Steinhilber off the hands of Halcomb. Haynes recovers. Burkle, Rower. Short shot up the middle. Sherpick now. Haynes, that one is blocked at the net by Jada Burkle, and it falls for ACU. They're up by 3 now.
It's these several mistakes that Tarleton has been making recently that the Wildcats are really capitalizing off of to be able to continue and to take the momentum into the end of this set and finish out the match.
Tarleton calls an early timeout. They're down by 3. Stick with us on ESPN+. Both teams take the court again. 5-2, ACU leads in Abilene. Western Athletic Conference Volleyball on ESPN+. Coy Oslin, Kaylee Kahn. And the service error from Carrizales falls for a Tarleton point. The serve from Ailey Hare. Burkle, but a good block at the net. It's going to fall out of bounds and a point for ACU. Haynes was all over that one at the net, but too much on it. It falls out of bounds, Kaylee.
Yes, once again we see the Wildcats pull back ahead, now by 3 with serving.
Guffey serves. Halcomb has it. Haynes on the outside, tips it, blocked by Box. Haynes again, can't get it over the net. Double touch. ACU gets the point.
It's those low serves we see from the Wildcats that really put the Texans out of place and letting the Wildcat offense being able to take over their defense.
But we've seen how risky those can be today. A lot of service errors off the net. On the outside, strong strike from McDonough gets it. Melina Maldonado going back to serve. Jayla Beth Garcia Rosa also in for Tarleton. The serve is underway. Edmondson. Steinhilber on the outside, that one falls. ACU continues their 4-point lead, regains it. Steinhilber now back to serve. The serve from Steinhilber. Sherpick now on the outside is Garcia Rosa. Up the middle, a short shot by Emma Burke. Emma Burke tried to block it. It went off her hands and out of bounds. The point will go to Brianna Box. Take a look at this one here. Just too strong of a strike. Steinhilber back to serve. ACU up by 5. High arcing serve over the net. Steinhilber up the middle, big strike off the hands of Haynes, off the net and out. It falls for a point for ACU. 10-4, they lead by 6. Steinhilber back to serve again. Sherpick is there. On the outside, Garcia Rosa. Off the hands it goes, out of bounds, and Tarleton gets a crucial point here early on. The serve from Maddie Thur is good. Sherpick now. That one well out of bounds. These two, a close matchup in Abilene. But turning the page to the future, Tarleton's upcoming schedule, they've got Utah Valley at home and Seattle at home. Then they go on the road to Sam Houston, then New Mexico State and UTRGV. So a little home stretch, kind of a home game for them, close one here, but then they turn around and go on a massive road trip all over the country, go from Huntsville all the way to Las Cruces. Big schedule coming up for Tarleton. ACU gets another point, 12-5, excuse me, now they lead. 7-point game here in set 4. ACU's held on to that momentum from the third set, Kaylee.
Yes, they have. This has been a really crucial part for the Wildcats. As we saw, they pulled away really in set 3, which they really haven't done in set 1 and 2. So they just keep with this, I think they'll be able to finish the set out well as long as they hold the Texan offense back.
The serve skims over the net from Shepard. But a little tip at the net gets over Brianna Rhodes, the senior out of Conroe and Oak Ridge High School. Emma Halcomb going back to serve now for Tarleton. Point underway, Steinhilber. London Gray doing a lot of work at the net. That one's off the hands and out of bounds. What a play by London Gray at the net. Good effort to rebound and get that one in. The serve from Rower. On the outside, Garcia Rosa, that one falls. Tarleton slowly but surely finding their way back into this one. 6-point game now. Megan Hodges going back to serve for Tarleton. Skims it over the net. Bozier, now Rower. Bozier got a block in the net. Bit of confusion. That one falls for the point. A lot of work going into this set from both teams. Definitely not effortless from both sides. The score doesn't really reflect, how this set has gone. Very competitive. Edmondson over the net. On the outside, they went for a block and it falls in Tarleton. Grayson Sherpick going back to serve now. 6-point game in Abilene, Texas. WAC Conference Volleyball. Sherpick serves. Shepard. Bozier up the middle. Gets it to go over the net. Off the hands of Shepard in the backcourt, and that one falls, and it is now a 5-point game. The serve from Sherpick. Burkle on the outside. Now Haynes, that one's off the hand. Shepard gonna have to recover. Edmondson gets it over the net. Great recovery by the Wildcats. And a good block at the net by the Wildcats also. Haynes on the outside. That one just went out of bounds, off the fingers almost. Shepard did a good job of holding off on that one. Carazala is going back to serve for ACU, up by 6. The serve. Sherpick, strong strike. Rower, that's got some high movement on it. Carazala saves it. Steinhilber now. Good offensive effort from ACU, falls short, and Tarleton gets the point. Take a look at this one here. So much effort to recover that one. Comes up just short. Ailey Hare back to serve now for Tarleton. Rower, now Steinhilber on the outside. That one falls, and a big point for ACU. Flip the page and look at ACU's upcoming schedule. They've got Seattle and Utah Valley. When they come to Texas, they'll play Tarleton and ACU. Then Sam Houston, UTRGV, and then New Mexico State on the road. So very similar schedules for these traveling partners between these two teams. All over the country, these two are going to travel. That one is off the net, and it falls for Tarleton. Back and forth they go here in the middle of the set. Kaylee, what type of momentum do you want to see if you're Coach Blair for ACU?
Really just the constant, confident momentum. Being able not to let Tarleton back into this like they know they can before, as we saw in the first set, and really they can just take it and roll with it. And so if you're the Wildcats right now, you need to make sure that you keep that momentum going and keep attacking the ball to where you never get on the defensive side.
Yeah, and that's a good momentum shifter right there. That hit by Steinhilber on the outside. She's going to go back to serve now. 6-point game. The Wildcats now just 8 away from taking this matchup. London Gray on the outside, off the hands. That one went up into the stands and down the stairwell. Emma Halcomb really wanted that one. She's been all over the court today, Kaylee.
Yes, she has. She's been a really crucial part of the aggressiveness out there and just putting it back and forth and for both teams.
So you're up 18-11 if you're ACU. You saw this in the last set. They really ran away with it at this point, but Tarleton trying to use their timeout here and try to pull back into this one. It's just 7 points. We've seen them come back from 8 today in that first set. Still dropped it. Kaylee, if you're Tarleton, what do you think you got to do here?
Like they did in the first set, just really pull back the momentum and work their balls and their aggressiveness to just try and pull away and see the weaknesses in the Wildcat defense, but they're going to have to do something quick or the Wildcats are just going to run away with it to end the match.
You talk about playing their game, play it the way they want to, and to do that, you've got to have the momentum in your favor. Seven-point game here in the fourth set. ACU right now looks like their game to lose. Tarleton's not going to let that happen, though. Steinhilber back to serve. And the serve. Haynes. Sherpick on the backcourt gets it in. Brina Box tips it over. Haynes on the outside again, but a good block by Box and Gray. Garcia Rosa on the outside now. Now Gray. That one falls, and there's going to be a challenge on that one. Mary Schindler not happy about that one. Challenges the play. Very close call in the back of the court there. See Mary Schindler talking to her girls here, trying to regroup. Worst case scenario, Kaylee, if this doesn't fall your way, you can kind of rally your troops a little bit. Just out of shot.
It's really hard to tell there.
Talk about the potential over the net violation also there. This might be this is an important point here. This one puts it in a situation where Tarleton may not be able to get back into it. Still reviewing this one. They want to get this one right. Referee crew today, Jeffrey Cushioney, April Bennett, Harvey Madrigal, and Tyler Jones working the lines for this game. Take a look at it here. Just longest review today so far, Kaylee.
I know, it's really difficult to see, which is probably why it's really taken them so long to come with a conclusion.
You know, and this can talk about, you talk about a calm down moment right here where you're both standing and just watching. Can really kill momentum. It can take away that adrenaline you had maybe garnered in the set. still reviewing it. Tarleton's had a lot of luck on these calls today. Very wise with their challenges so far. Pick the right battles. Looks like they're done looking it over. Gonna see what happens here. And it will fall for the Wildcats. A very in-depth review falls for the Wildcats. Mary Schindler, very respectful there in that response to that challenge. Briley Steinhilber back to serve. And that one is way out of the zone there, Kaylee. Maybe the deepest serve we've seen today. Maddie Thurr going back to serve for Tarleton in a 7-point game. On the outside, and a strong hit by Edmiston gets it. And ACU has broken the 20-point threshold. Just look at her on the outside. They set that one up. They knew where they were going with it. She knew where she was going to hit it. The serve by Shepard. And that one falls between Halcomb and Maldonado. And a point for ACU. They are now just 4 away. And they have pulled out to a comfortable 9-point lead here late in the 4th set. Set. Sherpick on the outside. That one's going to fall in for Tarleton. They're not out of this one yet, Kaylee.
No, they are not. We've seen them come back from a big deficit before, so it's no surprise that Tarleton's still not giving up, despite the Wildcats being 4 points from match.
The serve from Halcomb. Returned by Steinhilber. Now Gray on the outside. Just a clean hit falls. And Halcomb is going to go back to serve again. 2 points at a time, says Tarleton. Will take them. Steinhilber. Bozier up the middle. That one's out of bounds again. Tarleton 7 points. Now 6 points. Was 9 points. Halcomb serve. Up the middle, strong strike by Bozier. It falls in and they stop the bleeding. That was a very important point for ACU. Rohr coming in to serve now for ACU. Game on the line, 3 points away from winning a WAC conference matchup with Tarleton. The serve. Tips over the net. Recovered, Sherpick on the outside. Now Shepard. That one is out of bounds off the hands of Garcia Rosa. 2 points now for ACU. 2 for ACU, 8 the magic number for Tarleton to get back into this one. The serve from Rohr. Garcia Rosa tried to go for it, and it's just off the net. Game point. The match, the game, everything on the line. The serve from Rohr. Off the net, it falls, and that is the game. ACU. They take this one 3-1. Kaylee, how did you think of ACU?
I thought ACU's performance was really strong today. They really came out and knew what they were going for, and I think they just, after the second set, they really just came out and put their game on the line. Yeah, really good efforts from both sides. Thanks for watching. Nathaniel Chisholm, our whole ACUTV crew, Kaylee Kahn, Coy Oslin. Thank you for watching.